Hello everybody, welcome to the German Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the championship. Stirlingmoss is on pole in his Maserati. De Silva Ramos, once again qualified 24th I think, but the game has promoted him to second, so we're just going to ride with it because this season, if you're meant to finish and you're meant to finish well, you're going to. If you're not, you're not, so we're just going to ride with that one. Fangio then qualified second but starts third. Behra starting in fourth. Castellotti fifth in the Ferrari. Then jackfairman, he could wrap up the World Championship today. He starts in sixth on the grid. Behind him in seventh place is mauricetrintignant in the vanwall. He's starting seventh. I don't think vanwall have barely got out of starting below 20th all season, but the game hasn't placed him there. That is a genuine qualifying performance from mauricetrintignant. So chance for vanwall to snatch a point or two behind today, although there are a lot of fast cars behind them. So jackfairman, he could win the World Championship if he was to finish anywhere in the points, assuming that nobody can get ahead of De Silva Ramos, who is currently 7 points behind Fairman, and assuming that De Silva Ramos can't pull a result off himself. It's an interesting scenario. We've still, even with just two rounds to go, there are still many possibilities to the way that the World Championship fight could go, and we're open to all of them. Excited to see what could be. Stirlingmoss, he's had a win this year. If he was to get another one, he could move up onto 16. Fangio, if Ferrari managed to get him to the finish and he was to win the race, that could be a fly in the ointment because Fangio is mathematically out of it. There's a lot to be said. Once again, there's no news as to what may or may not happen next season. That is very much, I think as most of it's going to be sorted after the season. If we have any news going into Monza, we will of course let you know, but right now we know the calendar, we know jackfairman staying at Connaught, that's all we know. And now we're going to see the German Grand Prix to see if jackfairman can wrap up the 1956 Formula 1 World Championship today. Let's see. We'll cross our fingers for Jack. We'll also cross our fingers for final round title decider. Either outcome is okay with me. Let's see. Here we go then. Stirlingmoss on pole. He'll be looking to get away in the best possible way, but he has got quite a bit of competition. Moscan gets away. Fangio is away slowly. We've seen that for the majority of the season. Behra is away pretty quickly, and he could have won in Silverstone, but the car let him down fairly early on actually. And De Silva Ramos is off, and he's hit Fangio. Fangio initially avoided it, caught some control of his car, but then he is off again and he spun around. So, well, there's an incident already going into turn one, and everyone is, well, not everyone, not as badly as Silverstone, but quite a few are off. Again, of course, it is a wet race start, maybe not quite as wet as Silverstone was, but once again, and there's Behra fighting with somebody when Castellotti's out of the race there. Moss is leading, and Behra fights his way past, that's Trintignant. So, I think Fangio's out of the race as well, but there's Trintignant, who has made a great start, gone up from 7th on the grid to 3rd place. So that's a great start from Trintignant, and he looks at the moment to have a reasonable pace in comparison with those Maseratis. Yeah, Trintignant doing pretty well, and if he can hold us to that position, it'll be great. Oh look, it's the old disappearing car trick. Musso is in 4th, so he's actually doing pretty well, and Di Portago in 5th, so if they hold together, Ferrari might actually pick up a few more points here. Musso would be the lead Ferrari driver in the championship if he could get more points. At the moment it is Fangio. He's got 3 points, Musso's got 2, and no other Ferrari driver has scored any points whatsoever this season. And there is Moss leading Behra and Trintignant all in the same shot. And if Stirlingmoss could win this race, that would put him right up with jackfairman. If Fairman's not able to do much. We saw, I think, Fairman in a spin a little while ago, so he was hoping to get some points to wrap up the championship, but at the moment he's quite far down, I believe. Is that Fairman coming through there, or is that another vanwall? It's Harry Schell in the vanwall. I think that's Fairman in the background, is it? He's gone off again. And look, that's De Silva Ramos. He's having some, or is it Rosier actually? But he's having some close. So you can just hear the mechanic there saying jackfairman is out of the race. So this is an open goal now for anybody who cares enough to score enough points to stay in the title battle. De Silva Ramos is continuously off, so he might not close the gap. You got Moss and you got Behra, they both sitting on 8 points. A win would put one of them up to 16 points and level with, or not level, but only 4 points off of jackfairman. It would give them a fair chance to challenge in the final round in Monza. And Moss is there. Behra, though, appears to be the Maserati with the pace at the moment. They've both won one race each this season, and they would love to make it too. And but Behra at the moment really is flying at Moss with this pace. Will Moss hold on for the entirety of the Grand Prix? It's only one lap, but you know, this is the old Nordschleife. This is a long old circuit. Even in the 1950s, it was still long, and it's going to be a challenge for Moss. It's going to be a challenge for Behra, but will those two finish? We know their luck has not been in, other than their race wins this year. Neither of them have scored any more points, so their luck's not always been in, and they all want to hold it out. But you know, if they finish 1 and 2, I think you get 8 points for first and second, 6 points for second. So even if one of them finishes second, they would still be in with a chance of the World Championship. We could go into the final round with a 4-way fight, because don't forget, De Silva Ramos, even if he doesn't get anything today, would still be mathematically in it. But here's an intriguing situation, because Musso has kept in the race, and that Ferrari has some pace, and Trintignant in the vanwall, he looked to hold pace with the Maseratis initially, but Trintignant now is dropping back quite significantly, and he is being caught by that Ferrari very significantly indeed. Luigi Musso is looking here. Remember, Ferrari haven't got a podium yet this season. There is one right in touch here. Luigi Musso really could get that Ferrari into the podium positions. He'll be doing his best. It looks like Behra has made a mistake. He's dropped back a little bit from stirlingmoss there. So jeanbehra dropping back. There's Trintignant. I think Musso has made a little bit of an error, because Trintignant has gained a little bit of ground back on him. It is wet, it is slippy, it's very easy to make an error. But thankfully for Ferrari, Musso is still in the race. Di Portago is still in the race. He could be the third Ferrari driver to get some points. You've got Piotti, you've got Harry Schell in the vanwall, he's in 7th. And then, yeah, we're looking back through, going back forward through the field again. There's Trintignant, there's a little bit of a tank slapper. Musso a little bit as well. We think it's so slippy, slidey. And there's Behra having a really big slide, and that might be, is that the end of jeanbehra? Can he keep it going? Moss is going to be away in a good position. I don't know if Behra is going to be able to continue. I think he stalled it. Yeah, Behra is out of the Grand Prix. Stirlingmoss has his own moment, but he is continuing. But jeanbehra is out of the Grand Prix. I know that says Moss is in second. This is because if you've been following the 1990 series, there's some tracks on which the retirement puts a driver forward, so it would technically class Behra as the race leader at the moment, but of course he is out. We know that. So Moss, it says he's second, but he is leading the race. This puts Trintignant up to second, and Musso currently is in a podium place. It's Ferrari. Ferrari might just get that first podium in 1956. It might even be even better to take second, but he's in a bit of a slide there, Musso. Is he going to be able to collect up? He does, but once again, he drops further back from Trintignant. So he's got to do all the work to catch the vanwall once again. But Musso will, I'm sure, be trying. But Ferrari, surely they want some, they've got some points, so in that respect it's not too bad. But Musso, you know, they haven't got an embarrassment of having no points. But there's always been more drivers retired, because Moss is classified as 4th at the moment, but we know that he hasn't had any issues, and he's just cruising serenely at the moment. If Stirlingmoss does win this race, yeah, it'll be great for him. Trintignant will be hoping that Moss retires. Of course, that's the Portago out, and I think, is that Musso had an incident as well? I think that two Ferraris one might have made a mistake and the others run into him. But look, there's more chaos. Oh wow, well, what's going on here? Musso has indeed had an incident. He's currently sitting behind Di Portago. Is that Rosier or is that De Silva Ramos coming through, or even Manzon? I'm not sure. I think that's De Silva Ramos just flicked up on the screen. So when you take them out, Di Portago is out. Is Musso still in? We can't tell at the moment. Well, this has blown an opportunity for Ferrari, certainly to get two cars in the points. There is Moss, there is Trintignant, and there is Schell. He is up in a third in the vanwall. So if Moss was to make a mistake and go out of the race now, vanwall would be running 1-2, considering how little pace they've had all season. They got a second place with Colin Chapman and Silverstone. If they get a 1-2 or even a 2-3 here, it's a fantastic situation for vanwall to be in. De Silva Ramos trying to challenge. He's still, I think, away off of the points at the moment. I can't tell how long, because it's put all the retirements ahead of them. Is Musso out? I'm trying to figure that one out. I think he might be, or he might be trying to come back at the points again. But we know that Ferrari's a quick car, so if Musso is still in the race, he will have a go at getting back in the points. But we can't see him at the moment. to know where he is. I'm sure next time we flick the camera back, we will find out. Stirling Moss guiding serenely on to lead at the moment, but this is 1956 Formula 1. Nothing is guaranteed until you cross that finish line. Mauricetrintignant in second place. You can see the gap he has to Moss. Moss went through this corner quite a few seconds ago now, so Trintignant certainly isn't going to be threatening him for the lead. There's Shell. Piotti is actually starting to catch Shell, and Monditeguy is there, and there's Musso, we think is in 6th place. So has he damaged the Ferrari too much to have the speed, or is he still going to have the speed? Musso is in 6th. He needs to go up to 5th to get Ferrari more points. Remember, Ferrari, out of the teams that have scored, and I think that's basically all of the manufacturers have scored, Ferrari are last in the Constructors' Championship because of all the issues that they've been having. Their car is fast, but they just can't get to the end of the race. They're yet to get a podium, and it looks after Musso and Deportago got all tangled up there, it looks like that pattern without a podium is going to continue, and Ferrari only have one race left, the home Grand Prix in Monza, to try to right that wrong now. Well, Stirling Moss, he is hoping to right a wrong of only having one win in the 6 races this season and not finishing the other 5 in the points by getting a second win here. This is the key target for Stirling Moss. He is going for it. Shell under ever-increasing pressure from Piotti, but Piotti is in a slide, and that will set the vanwall free. Really good opportunity for a 2-3 for vanwall now. There's Piotti trying to rejoin him. Musso trying to avoid it, and he was going to get back into the points there, but he's now blown it, Luigimusso. He's had another spin, and what on earth is going to happen? Musso is still there. We saw it. He is still in the race, and he is continuing. We saw, he's got a little bit of a friendly bump with someone there, but once again, Musso, I think, is back in what I believe is 6th place when you take the retirements that they've jumped forward into the equation. I believe that Musso would be classified in 6th, but he's right in the middle of everybody, and he's had another wide moment, and thankfully he's not been torpedoed by the Maserati behind him that spun. There's the Silva Ramos, I think, still in the race, still with a hope of getting in the points if everyone goes out, but it's just so painfully slow, and I think he was about to get into a spin there. Yeah, unfortunately for Gordini, this is them showing their true pace, and well, Manzon's already out of the race, so Gordini, for everything they've hoped and the glorious moments they've had this season, right now it is not looking like it's going to go Gordini's way today. There's another yellow flag. That's Moss! Moss has spun! How far behind is Trintignant? 12. It says there, I think is it 15 seconds? I can't see it quite totally, but yeah, Trintignant was there behind him, but he's too far behind to catch Moss. Moss has had that spin. He's recovered quickly, but he almost blew it. Now this puts a question mark up. Is he going to be able to finish this race in the lead? We're getting towards the end of the race. Stirling Moss, though, has had a spin, and now there's a bit of a question mark, and I think the computer's actually righted itself. Musso is back in 5th, so someone must have had a retirement there, because Musso finds himself back in the points. But De Silva Ramos is 6th. If that Ferrari or anybody up front has an issue, De Silva Ramos is going to close the championship gap on Jackfairman, and that'll make it a real battle going into Monza with Moss. If he wins, he will be only 4 points off. De Silva Ramos 7 points off at the moment. If he gets, he'll be in the battle anyway, but if he was to get a few points, that would really increase any hope he has of doing the job. I think now someone else has retired, so all the guys' positions have gone down by 1 or 2 places again. Well, Moss still in the lead though.
Is unable to continue.
And that's De Silva Ramos out of the race. So, well, that's any hope that he had of closing in on Jackfairman has now gone. He will have to win in Monza with Jackfairman not scoring, and to have a chance of the championship. And we don't know where Moss is going to be in this equation, but he is still at the moment heading towards the victory as he gets ever closer. Oh, there's another bit of a tank slapper for Moss. Is he going to have another spin? Well, he's regained it. He has recovered that one, Stirling Moss. He carries on. So close is he to the end of the race now. I'm not sure how long we've got to go, maybe about a minute or so. I know this is towards the end of the circuit. So Moss is just trying to close down the race now. But he seems to be driving quickly. He doesn't need to drive quickly, Stirling Moss. He could just relax and bring it home now. Going back over the bridge, and there's Trintignant quite a distance behind still. Is that Monditeguy now up to 3rd, I believe, in the Maserati? Scarlatti, and is that Taruffi in 5th? Where's Musso? I think it must have been second. Musso must have retired, and Moss has crossed the line. Moss crosses the line. We missed it actually, but Stirling Moss crosses the line to win the German Grand Prix. Fantastic for Sterling Moss. He is going to go into Monza with that chance of taking the World Championship. Excuse me, I'm a bit hiccupy. Moss is going to close into within 4 points of jackfairman. So we're going to have a world champion who has not been a world champion before. And there's a 2 in 3 chance it could be a British one. Jackfairman leading the championship on 20 points, Moss on 16, and then De Silva Ramos on 13. So those are the 3 who are still in it. So to run you through the finish positions of today's race, Sterling Moss wins it. Mauricetrintignant second in the vanwall. Shell couldn't finish the race, unfortunately for him. So he dropped out of 3rd place. And carlosmenditeguy, never know how to say it. I used to call him Menditeguy. I don't know what a Menditeguy is, though. Maybe he's a cool guy. But, yeah, but Menditeguy, I believe I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm assuming that's the way. He finishes 3rd. If anyone would like to tell me how to pronounce Menditeguy, be my guest and leave a comment. So yeah, finishes 3rd. I think that's his first points of the season. He's done it with the podium. So well done, carlosmenditeguy. Giorgio Scarlatti as well. I believe he gets his first points of the season. I'm sure he was in a private Ferrari only a season, but now he's in a Maserati. We've not chose to do the transfer. I think that's just how it seems to switch over as you pick in different liveries for different races. So Scarlatti in the private Maserati, and yeah, and he's in the Maserati and he scores points. So there we go. Luigipiotti gets points for the 2nd race in a row. He actually finished this one, not at any sort of quick pace, but he did finish it. And Piero Taruffi, the only finisher to not get any points. Bit of a shame for him. If he had been able to get on a bit more of a pace and get in the... Well, if he could have got 2nd, he might still win in the championship fight. But, yeah, so lots of drivers can't be world champion now. Harry Schell just missing out. De Silva Ramos. Luigimusso did indeed retire. They gave Ferrari fans some hope for a while. So, let's quickly run through the championship order then. Fairman on 20. No, I'm reading the pre-race championship now. Right, Fairman on 20. Moss on 16. De Silva Ramos on 13. They're the 3 that can still challenge for the championship. Transition on 12. Padiso 11. Maglioli 10. Behra, Hawthorne, Taruffi, Maglioli and Godier all on 8. The constructors, Maserati lead that. And then you've got Connaught, Gordini and Vanwall just a point behind Gordini. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon for the title decider.